While in San Diego, I met Morgan Rockwell, the owner and CEO of Bitcoin Kinetics. Morgan is a pretty eccentric, rebellious entrepreneur. He's seeking to bring Bitcoin to the mainstream with BitSwitch, the Bitcoin Academy, and also Cannacoin. I caught up with him to find out more about what he plans to do with these tools.
What is Bitcoin Kinetics, first of all?
First of all, Bitcoin Kinetics is a garage company that makes little machines communicate with the blockchain. So the blockchain sends our little device a piece of data that says payment showed up. We put that device right here, the BitSwitch, in any machine like this washing machine. And when you send payment to this device, it'll turn on any device it's connected to. So, you know, this is a basic at-home washing machine. And you send payment to our device and the washing machine turns on and now you can use it. So now it's got a commercial application. It won't work till you pay for it. So we can put that in a parking meter, gas pumps, arcade machines, vending machines, ticket boxes, anything you'd put money in and make it do something. At the very least, you can even put it in, like, you know, the little arcade horsey, make the horse start moving.
So your goal is to bring Bitcoin to real world application?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to just stare at a screen your whole life.
Yeah.
I want to, like, pay for my parking. I want to, like, buy a soda. I want to, like, go to Legoland and scan the little booth and the kiosk moves and I can walk through now, you know? So I'm trying to think of an automated world where payment's going to show up, but physical things move when I pay, so I don't have a person have to do it, you know? Like, really, this is a button, a switch, when a payment shows up.
That's what you call a BitSwitch?
It's BitSwitch. And you could do that. You could really, like, force a quarter in there and it hits a button which pushes that. And now all we do is send a data packet to this machine that's wired in and it turns the pin on, which hits the button.
So you could have your digital wallet on your phone and then transfer Bitcoin?
Yeah, I mean, we even have our own hardware wallet version, which is called Kinetics, which is pretty much the Arduino Yarn and an Arduino screen. We program this thing to talk to the blockchain just like the BitSwitch. It's the same bottom hardware, but instead of a relay, it's got a screen. So this is now a hardware wallet, and the same bottom unit is connected to the relay inside. And so you have your Bitcoin on here, and you come up and you push pay, and this machine will turn on like that. You know, we're going to do a secondary screen. So this machine has Linux on it, its own operating system, its own computer. This computer has its own operating system. But right now, I'm going to have it so you're going to see a QR code, BitPay, on our operating system. When you pay that QR code, the invoice says received. The little data packet from the blockchain saying the payment shows up, hits this machine, tells it to turn Linux off and activate pin 7, which is wired into this power button. So when you send the Bitcoin moves over here, piece of data hits this thing, the QR code that you sent to goes away, and then this thing turns on. So it's kind of like the screen is being used for this device first. As soon as it is assured that a payment shows up, it turns itself off and turns this pin on, which turns the device on. So it's the same way you would hit a quarter, it'd hit the button, and it's the same mechanism as the old machines from the 50s, and it's just digital instead of an actual physical button being pushed. But this thing is a relay. I could put servos and motors on here. I could actually wire in a thing to hit a button if I needed to. So when a payment showed up, make the motor move. So I could actually build this into an old arcade machine that's got that little button. I could wire it in there and retrofit it. So it doesn't need a Wi-Fi $1,500 with the screen. You know, you could put it in the ancient washing machines, put a QR code sticker on the front, wire this thing into the start button, and no different, you know?
So what other applications do you see the BitSwitch being used for?
Well, I started thinking about maybe like rooms, putting in a locked door. You send Bitcoin to a door, the door unlocks, you can rent the room for a day. Maybe ignitions for cars, rental cars, like the Zip Zap cars I have in San Francisco. You pay, the door unlocks, the car is now using your Bluetooth from your phone as the key, and once your payment's done, your Bluetooth don't work anymore, and the car won't start until you pay again. So I see things like that in the short term, and kind of in the long term, I imagine this thing's going to be very small, because we actually have a smaller version of it, which is called the Trinket, which I don't know where the hell it went. I got a box of them actually. So this is eventually, you know, we're using prototype hardware that anyone could buy at Radio Shack so that anyone could build this. It's open source. But eventually we have a small unit, you know. That was a battery charger. This is a microcontroller. It's called a Trinket. It's from Adafruit. It's pretty much the same exact thing as this, minus all the networking ability. So you program this thing the same way you program this thing. It's just that has Wi-Fi in it. This is all we need to put in there. This is bit switch, so we can put this on tiny little devices and scale it down. And eventually, say like every one of these is in, you know, you get Petman or Atlas, the DARPA's Terminator robot, and you wire one of these into every little servo where the muscles are, and you can make a Satoshi packet to give it data to move or not move. And this could be communications for machines eventually that are not just turning a laundry machine on, but making a robot pick its arm up, pull a trigger, or making, you know, a drone have GPS data, the payment was sent to it, fly over there and take a picture, you know. So it's going to cause an autonomous everything, you know. And this thing is so cheap. This is a $10 piece of hardware that could be programmed with our free software. It could go everywhere. I mean, anything like your camera here, you could probably put something like this in a camera, and the camera won't work till you pay it. And now you can have equipment that's pay-to-use equipment. Like, I mean, it could cause a whole new industry of rent-to-use tools and rent-to-use cars. And I mean, I don't know. Pay as you go. It'll change the concept of ownership of equipment. You know, you don't need to own that equipment anymore. You just pay, and then it works. But don't work till you pay for it. Like, you could literally have an electronic, you know, gun that won't work because they got those fingerprint electronic triggers now, but you send a Satoshi payment to your trigger and it unlocks.
Yeah.
So that's the implications. Is in the long term, anything that's a machine that needs not necessarily payment but access, like identity, like you are only allowed to use that house or that car or that gun or that washing machine. Your wallet will be the only way it turns on. Not his wallet, not my wallet, not her wallet.
So what's
Bit ID?
What was the idea behind creating the Bitcoin Academy?
Well,
or you know, what is it intended to be?
My main concern is, like, there's a lot of people on Earth that are trying to be force-fed this technology, and they don't know what the hell it is. Most of them are adults. My concept was try to go to teenagers and high school age kids and ask them how they see this technology could be used. Not the 30, 40-year-old people that are running businesses, how they can make money off of it.
Yeah.
I want to see a little bit more of an innovative use of the technology more than the money use of it. At an academy, I like to express the concepts and theories behind the blockchain and teach kids the next 20 years, not what we could do with it now, because there's plenty of people doing things with it now. I mean, education is needed. If no one knows what the hell Bitcoin can do, and they get it shoved down their face, you know, the governments, the corporations that know how it works are going to blind everyone to that, just like credit cards. And no one knows that their money's getting sent around the world for 5 days, getting an interest built on it. You know, if people don't know how Bitcoin works, they don't know why the price moves. They don't know why, you know, I need a miner to make it work. Like, I would like to teach kids that process so they can maybe change it, improve it. Because right now all the education that's out there is to educate people how to make money and how to use the technology to make money. They're not educating youthful-minded people to the future of it, you know. There's a college degree you could get for crypto finance now, but there's no little middle schools age kids and no little high school age kids, and there are even elementary age kids that even have the concept of it yet, which is wrong. Like,
so Bitcoin Academy focuses more on the youth?
Yeah, that was my plan, because Charles Hoskinson of the Bitcoin Education Project told me a long time ago he was trying to do a college thing, to get a college certificate, master's degree. I just thought, well, what about kids? So kids that need to know is, I mean, I was web designing when I was 12, and I started a company off of that. If there was like a web designing class at school, there'd be a lot more web developers out there now, and MySpace maybe wouldn't have survived. So if Bitcoin Academy can, and I also have the Bitcoin Boot Camp, which is supposed to be like this after-school program to, you know, embedded in public schools, and then maybe we actually have a private campus that people, you know, a profit school. But the problem is that for-profit schools are now pretty much not necessarily banned, but they're not allowed in the United States. The Obama administration has specifically expressed not having private for-profit schools in the United States because they're trying to clamp down on curriculum. And they also want people not telling kids things that are completely false, but what's false to the state's view of curriculum, you know? Like if I start teaching kids decentralization, crowdfunding, and open source protocols, they might get mad that the legacy banking system has no one asking for lending anymore. They might get mad that the public schools don't get funded anymore. It's like, well, if every public school I knew had a Bitcoin address, I'd donate the school money. I'd bypass the IRS and the Department of Education and send the school money. So my concept with the Bitcoin Academy is teachers get paid in Bitcoin, students paid in any currency, because some of them may not even have the concept of Bitcoin yet. But every teacher that's there teaching, it's all on Bitcoin payroll, Bitcoin technology to kind of embrace it, you know? Like, I pay all my employees Bitcoin or Dogcoin or whatever cryptocurrency they want. This is my Bitcoin cannabis hub.
Cannabis cryptocurrency?
Well, at least I could give the cannabis dispensaries, cannabis companies, payroll accounts, accounting, wallets, so that they don't get robbed handing pot over to stores or get robbed coming home. And then I have Cannatokens, which is like a virtual cannabis coin that we would like maybe hook up vendors. And a BitPay. BitPay don't take cannabis. They don't allow guns or cannabis. So if you have like a BitPay that is cannabis friendly, where they could turn it to dollars real quick for you right there.
Yeah.
And the banks already kicked them out. They need payroll. They need help. That's a big industry. And like you said, if pot's going to be legal now, and there's going to be states depending on that, they need payroll. Bank of America is the only one that said they'd give them a bank account, and they only did that because they launder money for drug cartels in Mexico. So I wouldn't want to give them my payroll account for my pot shop. That'd be kind of iffy, you know.
Things people talk about today: drone strikes, drug war, prison system, everything. What do you think it is? Either the biggest threat to our freedom, or the one thing that can bring us all together and stop all the craziness?
Love.
Love. The one. That's it. That's
love is the cure for all diseases. And let me tell you something else.